Hey guys, Mr. C, Silverfox, coming to you from Medellin, Colombia. In my opinion, the epicenter of femininity in the entire fucking world. This place is fucking unreal. If you haven't been to Colombia, you're an idiot. You should come to Colombia. If you like feminine women. If you like masculine women, go to Canada. But if you like feminine women, come to Colombia. So, we're here on day one of Mr. Ege's second boot camp.
Yeah.
First boot camp was at Scottsdale or San Diego?
Yeah, first boot camp was in Arizona, Scottsdale.
Scottsdale, Arizona. That was last
That
May?
was in April, I think.
April.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember because it was like 10 days before my 21st birthday.
Nice, nice. So you are literally half my age. That's fucking hilarious.
Interesting, yeah.
We're gonna be charging around, causing a little bit of trouble on the streets here.
Oh, yeah.
So some of the people on here already know you because I remember your testimonial, and I think, did we do any videos in your first? I don't think we did any videos in your
No, I
first
don't
one.
think
No
we did.
approaches or anything. So why don't you give yourself a quick introduction and tell everybody where you're from and kind of what your goals are for the boot camp, and
Yeah.
then we'll get into what your sticking points are. So for now, just who you are and what your goals are.
Yeah, totally. So my name is Ege. It's like reggae, but without the R. That's
There
the
you
way
go.
I explain it. And I'm originally from Turkey, but I've been living in the US for about 3-4 years now. And how I got into doing day game and approaches was through a breakup that I went through. And basically, I thought about my dating life in a critical manner. And I asked myself, okay, now that I'm single again, what is a good way for me to meet people? What I realized is, like, a lot of the time people don't take responsibility for where they are, and through approaching people on the street, I thought that was a really good way to see, hey, if your dating life sucks, it's on you to actually fix it. Because
totally.
you see all these people walking around, and if you start talking to them, then you can slowly start getting the options that you're looking for. Yeah, so right after that, I saw James's channel, started looking into the videos that he had, and eventually I thought, what's a better way to commit yourself to something than to actually pay money for it? So
Totally.
I signed up for a boot camp, and I had, I think, around 9 to 10 weeks before the boot camp came, before I signed up. So I did the 10-week introduction to day game video that Tusk had, and I did that like step by step. So I went from the compliments all the way to like 10 approaches for 3 days a week right before I came through the boot camp. And in the boot camp we had a lot of fun, made a lot of interesting memories, and I really improved upon mainly my ability to just like front stop and understand that was a way for me to both show dominance, but also, you know, show the confidence and just be congruent with what I was doing. And the second thing that really helped me was, before I took the boot camp, like, I would approach, but it wasn't a lot of structure, so I didn't know how to escalate a situation, or I had trouble with maintaining conversation sometimes. And what really helped me was to just a couple of tricks like Tusk used, such as, do a handshake if you don't know what to say, so that you'll save yourself time. And you could also use that as a tool to get closer. And lastly, what really got me close with Clint was, I really liked his vision of just giving value to everyone, because I felt that that's like a bigger purpose for me and doing this, because if you have just value to give and then talk to people, then you get a lot of interesting experiences, but it's just a really good way to live your life.
I think it's, my own frame that I always look at things from, or my own lens that I translate things through, is always through, a proper understanding of masculinity and femininity, and how the two play with each other, how the two dance with each other in everything. So the way that you talk, or the way that you flirt, or using subtext, or a handshake, or the sex, or kissing, or everything. It's like, it's always looking at the interplay of the masculine and feminine energy. And that's what creates attraction and passion and everything, in my opinion. I think it's not really my opinion. I think that's just the way it is, and it's something that I learned. It's not something that I came up with. We've been doing this for hundreds of thousands of years, right? It's not something that they came up, Mystery came up with, or the London Daygame model. No, it's just that that's what works. That if you're a masculine, high on the social dominance hierarchy male, then you'll be more attractive to women. It's always been that way. And the London Daygame model found a way to basically structure it and simplify it so that guys could learn how to interact with women in that way. And then Mystery took it a step further and said, why don't you remain a low quality, low value male, and you can just pretend to have value, and you could trick women for a day or two into bed, really. And you can remain a loser, but you can appear that you have value. So my own take, I slam that perspective quite a bit because I think it's a pathetic life. So what I think you're saying, I totally agree with. If you look at people that are higher on the dominance hierarchy, their cup overflows in life. They have energy, generally they have money, because these types of people are rewarded by society. They have, some money, they have a lot of energy, and they have a lot of positivity, and they have a lot of good to give. And so when you're interacting with one of those people, you feel good because that person is just like, their goodness, their vibrancy, their passion for life, everything is just overflowing onto you. And then you leave and you go like, fuck, that person's really cool to be around. And if I meet a guy like that, it's not sexualized. I leave and I just feel great about life, and life is doable, businesses, opportunities abound, and it's a life of abundance. And I just leave feeling like, fuck, that guy, that was a cool dude to hang out with. I want to get to know him better, And then if it's a woman interacting with you as a man that way, she naturally sexualizes it. She feels incredible around you, rightfully so. She knows that you're high on the dominance hierarchy because you have lots to give, you have lots of value, and she naturally wants to be around you more. It's not a way of manipulating women into being around you. It's just understanding that if you bring value to people in life, that does increase where you are on the social hierarchy. And it's also a much better way to live life. It's fucking fun as fuck. I don't want to be the type of guy that negs women and tries to bring them down below me so I can feel good about myself. Or other men in a pissing contest try and put the men below me so I can build myself up. It's fucking pathetic. It's way, way better. Just discover how to be high on the ladder and then raise people up to your level. This is a fucking delicious way to live life. You meet women and you bring them up to your level. If a woman feels self-conscious about her whatever, and if you authentically think she looks amazing, she has an amazing walk, and she thinks she has a horrible walk, I love it being my job to convince her that she's gorgeous. It's fucking amazing. It's like, how much fun is that? And when you meet when one of your buddies, as men too, we do this with each other, where we always kind of I have down days, you have down days, men, women, we all have down days, right? And then you can call your buddies and you're like, hey dude, I'm feeling totally down. This didn't work with this client, or it didn't work with this girl I went out with. I'm sad about it, and whatever, we broke up, whatever the story is, right? And you're feeling down on Monday and you call me and I build you up. And then on Thursday, I'm feeling down and I call you and you remind me, hey dude, it's okay. There's more clients out there, things always work out. And so it's like this constant recycling of that encouragement, and that's a cool thing to be a part of. My opinion, that's one of the best parts of life. And you can't have that when you're in that other mindset of oh my God, there's not enough to go around. I have to take sex from women. I have to take money and business deals from clients. I have to take from my friends. Fucking pathetic life, So, kind of went off there. Anyway, let's get back to Ege and what we're going on here. So we've got 2.5 weeks together or something like that. We're going to be charging around. Right now we're in Medellin. Next we're going to hit Cartagena. And then after that we're going to hit Cali, where we're going to join up with Tusk, who's going to be an absolute rampage of horror for the city. And we'll be wandering around with Tusk trying to keep him from getting arrested. Or kidnapped.
It's a hard task, but I think we'll make it work.
There will be many angry husbands in Cali, and we'll be walking around trying to clean up some garbage. Don't kill him, sir. Don't kill him. I know that you're a narco, but don't kill him. He means well.
He means well.
So yeah, super looking forward to meeting up with Tusk. That's going to be a really fun week.
Yeah.
But for now, we've got 2 more days in Medellin, and then we move on to Cartagena for about 10 days, I think, for Christmas. And then Boxing Day, we head over to Cali, join up with Tusk, and find out how he can help us get into more trouble.
Yeah.
Be fun. So tell me, first off, what are a couple sticking points? I have one thing that I really want you to engage in and learn from the boot camp. That's my goal for you. But I want to know from you, what are your goals that you want? So if you fast forward 3 weeks from now, or even 3 months from now when you're back in LA, just put a pause there in case you want me to cut that out.
It's all good.
Okay, cool. Want to maintain anonymity
You
to
know,
a
my
certain
personal
degree.
address is
Yeah, totally. When you get back to 555. So I want to know, like, say 3 months from now, 5 months from now, whatever, and you have some significant gains and changes. What would you like those to be? You know, so that when you're 3 months from now, you think back and you're like, oh fuck, that was a total success because I learned this, I accomplished this, I did this, whatever. Something, a few tangible items, 3 or 4. And then we'll talk about what are some obstacles that you think you might have in accomplishing those tangible goals. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
So the overarching goal that I have is to get a better idea of like male to female polarity. And with that, the main thing is just being better at, as you said, speaking with your eyes, right? Because I feel as a person, I can speak to people on a friendly manner, or I could go up and talk to people, but there's still a lot to work on based on my body language and specifically my eye contact. So the first goal that I have is to get a better understanding of how the eye contact communication works and slowly implement that so I can use that in what I'm doing.
Okay, cool. So we got eye contact. That's awesome because that's the one that's my goal for you. Well, a little bit more broad. Eye contact and kind of playful interactions.
Yeah.
The difference in interacting with very feminine women, and especially Latinas, everything is a playful dance of your masculinity and her femininity. And when you, as you already saw when we were checking in at the hotel, right, with the person at the front desk, you know, when you understand that, you have more playfulness. Even if you're not trying to sexualize things, you still interact the same way. Like I wasn't trying to sexualize things with the lady at the front desk.
Yeah.
But you still interact the same way, and it's so fun, and it so communicates that you're, you know, a good, safe, masculine man to her. And if you want that to go somewhere, you can. And if you don't want it to go somewhere, you still get better service at the restaurant or at the bank or at the hotel, wherever you are, because it's just that you understand how to interact properly in social situations. So she immediately likes you, and she wants to, like, oh, okay, we'll give you a better room, or like I've had tons of stuff like that. You know, you get an upgrade in your room, or you get a free ride. I met a girl on a plane and we were just chatting like that, and I wasn't interested in her at all. So I wasn't sexualizing it, but we interacted so well. That was on my way to Cali last time. And then when the plane landed, she said, oh, how are you getting to your hotel? And I said, oh, I'm just gonna get an Uber. And she said, no, let me drive you. And so she drove me like all the way across town for free. It was hilarious. She was a cool person. But, so my point is, I want for you, one, to really learn eye contact, and not eye contact just as a way of like looking at somebody, but as a mean of communication. It's like literally a language in and of itself. And when you understand eye contact, or how to use your eyes to communicate properly, then you literally communicate things with everybody. As you're walking by them, as you're interacting with them, you communicate to guys whether you're a good target for them to mug. You communicate where you land in the social hierarchy with men, women, everybody you meet, as even the people you don't meet, everybody as you're interacting and walking by. It's a very important skill to learn, especially if you want to date Latinas, because the first 3 seconds you make eye contact with her, that's like 80% of your points. You haven't even talked. You know, so then guys will be like, oh, what do I say? Well, it's like, dude, if you got the 80% down pat and you did it properly, like you really communicated to her properly with your eyes in the first few seconds, then when you talk to her, she doesn't even know what you're saying. Like you won't even, especially me if it's in Spanish, she doesn't even know what I'm saying. Because I don't even know what I'm saying. She's like, that's not Spanish. But she, you know, the effect that you have on her will be extremely powerful, and you guys will connect. And the words are somewhat secondary. They're entirely secondary. They're maybe even, I don't know, what is it, thirdly or whatever. they're not primary. And so guys from Western culture would be like, oh, I need to know the right words. You know, this is like the mystery method thing, right? Plan a script and have all the right words. Fuck that. You can't connect if you have words. You connect by connecting, and you connect with your eyes before you even use words. So if you connect with her properly, the words are just sort of like, I don't know, it's just sort of a ritual that we do to get to know a bit more about each other, but most of it's all in the eyes and body language.
Yeah.
And once you understand that, you have an entirely different way of interacting with people, especially women, you know. And then when you go back home to LA, you'll still have that ability to communicate with your eyes. You'll be disappointed because most women don't know how to communicate back with their eyes, because in the West, we don't do that. So most women will just be like,
whatever.
and like a wall as far as that language. And then you have to use more words because women don't understand as much how to interact on a masculine, feminine, just sort of energy level, you know. But while you're here, like live it up. That's fucking awesome. Very good life skill. Plus with guys, like when you're walking, you'll make eye contact, and how you interact in that first 2 seconds will determine whether that guy respects you and thinks highly of you, or whether he thinks he's, you know, gonna dominate over you. And if you end up talking to that guy because you're gonna buy a beer off him, he'll charge you double. Or if you're gonna use him as a taxi driver, he'll charge you double. Or, you know, if he's thinking about stealing your watch, he's like, hey, it's on. This guy's a fucking loser. I can steal his watch. Nobody will mess with me, right? That's one thing, Tusk. If you're with him in person, watch how he walks. Like seriously, he's totally got a masculine, dominant walk. And you can just see other people look at him, and it immediately communicates without saying a word. He communicates not like in a tough, arrogant sort of way, but he communicates, you know, I belong. You know, don't fuck with me. I belong on this street. I belong in this mall. I belong wherever I am. I own my space. You know, it's a very masculine trait. And other guys will immediately be like, I'm not gonna fuck with that guy. And it's not just because he's got the scorpion tattoo. Okay, it might be like 30% because he's got the scorpion tattoo, because it's pretty fucking badass. Okay, so that's your first goal, and that's the same goal that I have for you. So the eye contact, learning about eye contact. What's another 1 or 2 goals?
The second goal, which kind of goes along with that, is what I found is sometimes my conversations, especially like I can just start a conversation directly and tell someone that, oh, you look attractive, or I think you have really beautiful eyes. But as time goes on, it comes more onto the friendly side rather than like male female polarity side. So that's the
I'm going to correct you because I'm going to do this over and over and over. We have a very big misunderstanding in the West around masculinity and femininity because we connect it to gender. Ironic, because in the West, you know, the whole transgender movement and the whole like, oh, gender is fluid and blah, 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 blah. So we say that, but we don't actually think that, right? And so you have to separate male and female from masculine and feminine. They're totally different concepts. Okay. Male is a dick. Female is a pussy. That's how it works. That's the way it's worked for millions of years. Oh, but in the last 10 years, like what I just said in Canada is basically hate speech, because some transgender person is going to be offended by that, and I really don't give a shit. I have a dick, so I'm a man. You know, if you don't have a dick, you're not a man. If they stick a little stick-on dick, that doesn't make you male. It just means that you're a female walking around with a little stuck-on dick between your legs. And if you go to see a doctor and they cut your dick off and they put a slit there, that doesn't make you female. It just means you got your dick cut off and you have a quasi-pussy, right? That's not hate speech. That's just me, one, giving my opinion, and two, my opinion lines up with like every single person's opinion for the history of the world up until the last couple of years in the West. So I think it's a pretty safe opinion, right? So you have gender, which is male, dick, female, pussy. It's things that people knew up until recently. And then you have masculinity and femininity. And so you could have someone that happens to have a dick, but is extremely feminine, which is very common in the West. Straight, male, super feminine, right? The feminine energy coming from the guy, you know? And then the same with women. You know, you can have a person walking around with tits and a pussy, which we would call a female, physically, her gender, and then her energy could be very masculine. So she's a very masculine female. What we've done in the West is we actually linked them. And so now, if you identify as a very masculine person, you should get surgery to get a dick so that you can be male. which is so fucking backwards. It's really funny. It's like in the West, we've actually messed it up. That's why we have all the surgeries that we have, and like everybody's screwing with their bodies, because we don't understand you can be male with a dick, and you can be very feminine if you really want to be feminine. If that's your goal in life and you love it, I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. It's your life. But you don't need to get your dick cut off so that you can be very feminine. It's like, I think it's just hilarious. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. I don't know. In the comments, I guess you guys can talk about whether it's an American or a Canadian thing or whatever. But so always you want to be thinking about male, female, masculine, feminine, separate them. When you're thinking about feminine energy, you want to be a masculine male, and you want to interact with feminine females.
Yeah.
And so on this channel, and you know, in certain places and whatever, kind of like masculine lingo, we call that a man, a masculine male, and a woman, a feminine female. It's kind of like, or we say the upper tier, right?
Yeah.
But so you were saying again another little tangent.
So, rephrasing with what you said, I want to get better at masculine, feminine polarity, because I do find that one of the sticking points that I have is after a while, sometimes conversation get a little bit too friendly. And although that still like leads to a date or something more, I want to do a better job of creating that polarity in the beginning, so my intentions are like even more clear.
Yeah, and that's again, it's an energy thing. It's not even the words that you say.
Yeah.
It will be like your eye contact, your body placement, the way you touch each other when you touch. No, I don't mean Kino. Like the silly things we do in kind of, I don't even consider myself in the pickup community, but in the pickup community, the silly things people do to try and, you know, take an engineer and systematize regular normal human interaction into like 15 steps of how to like get from we haven't met to get into bed. Fuck that, man. It's fun. Like, learn how to interact with a human being, not a target, a living, breathing woman, and interact with her in a romantic way where you guys enjoy the whole process of getting to know each other and connecting, which naturally leads to, you know, having great sex. If you're really masculine, she's really feminine, and you guys are attracted to each other and you're both good people, why would you not be having sex? It's like crazy, right? But to try and break that down into like these silly little things, like while we're talking, I'm supposed to sit this far apart from you, and then within a few minutes, I'm supposed to touch you on the shoulder a couple times,
Every
and then
15 seconds.
and then I move it to your elbow, and then I kind of touch your leg, and then touch it again. Oh, what was I supposed to do? Oh yeah, elbow again.
Oh shit, I missed.
And
10
now what were
seconds
the
ago.
words I'm supposed to be saying? Oh yeah, when I touch your shoulder, I'm supposed to not look at it. I'm supposed to look at it. Fuck off, man. Just learn how to interact with a woman. It's what it all comes down to. And so that's cool. What you want to learn to do is how to increase the intensity of the, well, we say polarity, but the sort of like the masculine energy and the feminine energy colliding against each other.
Yeah.
Your masculinity, her femininity, without talking about it. So it's done through eye contact, through just the energy of the way you're interacting with her. It's really something that you can only grow by doing.
Yeah.
You know, you can learn a little bit about it, but this isn't accounting, this isn't engineering, this isn't systems. You got to get your mind out of that. This is romance. It's like the polar opposite of spreadsheets. So, okay, awesome. So we're going to work on your eye contact and that whole language, which plays into the second part, which is how to, let's say, even escalate by infusing your interaction with her with your masculinity, which enables her to feel and experience her femininity more and more and more, which is a turn on for her because most guys can't enable her to feel more feminine, especially in the West, because guys are so feminine. So she will actually feel masculine and she will resent that. But if you can enable her to feel more and more feminine because you're very masculine, she loves feeling feminine and beautiful and desirable and different things, and it just naturally escalates. It's fucking delicious. It's a great experience. It's beautiful. It's awesome. I love it. Fuck, it's amazing. Welcome back to Colombia. Heaven again. Okay, so cool. We're gonna focus on the eye contact stuff. We're gonna focus on how to infuse interactions with your masculinity. And what else? What's the third one?
I'd say the third one is more of a tangible goal. So what I found is, being on the younger side, sometimes I get intimidated by girls who have a really good fashion sense, because I'll be like, damn, like she looks good and she knows how to dress. So just going into interactions where I'm just like, oh shit, And that's partially why I wanted to come to Colombia, because even a couple of days ago you were like, yeah, Medellin people dress really well, the girls are awesome, so it will provide me with a lot of opportunities to see that type of people and put myself in those situations.
So in the West, you're a bit different because you grew up in Turkey. When did you move to the US?
Like 3-4 years ago.
Okay, so 18-ish.
Yeah,
So
but
you,
my like dating career started when I moved to the US.
but your understanding of people and society in Turkey, I assume, is going to be similar to Latin America, in that it's very common in almost the entire world, for again the history of mankind, up until the West thought it was a great idea to just change the words and say everybody's equal. So this guy's a billionaire, but he's equal to the guy serving him his coffee at Starbucks. And well, if he's a billionaire, hopefully he would come to Colombia and have better coffee than Starbucks, right? He'd probably fly here for the weekend just to have good coffee. But, so in the West, we say these two people are equal. But clearly, in the history of the world, and even today, their experience of life and everything is completely different. So clearly this Starbucks person is at a Starbucks level, and this billionaire is at a billionaire level. It's just the way that it is. We have social levels. In the West, we don't like the idea that we have social levels, so we say they don't exist. But guess what? They still fucking exist, you crazy people. So I didn't know this because I'm from Canada, so my whole life I thought there were no social levels because I was so indoctrinated with the bullshit that we teach people. And then I was fortunate, I had a bunch of friends from Mexico, and I got to go to Mexico a bunch of times, and I had a bunch of friends from Mexico in my city learning English, and I got to start seeing my culture through Mexican eyes. Now Mexicans have, I think, 12 different social levels, very detailed social levels. And so immediately when you meet people, they're constantly analyzing where are you at on the ladder. And things like hypergamy, it's totally understandable. A woman is going to be at whatever, say level 3, she's always going to be wanting to be at a higher social level. That's normal human nature. If she's got the option of dating a guy that's below her on the social level and everybody that she knows thinks she's a worse of a person because of it, and she's got the option of dating a guy at a higher social level and everybody in her world thinks she's amazing because of it and she feels better and she has more opportunities, why the fuck wouldn't she do that? Like, that's just insane. Of course she would, right? It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way in every country of the world for forever, long after we die. It's just how it works. And everybody does that in like places like Latin America. There's always like, oh, what school did you go to? Oh, what family are you from? Oh, what fashion? How do you talk your Spanish? What's your body language? How do you walk? All these things communicate, this is where I am in the dominance hierarchy. If you want to date women that are a higher level in the dominance hierarchy, you have to be at a higher level. It's just that way. In the West, it's like, oh, no. She should love me because I'm me. Dude, you're in fucking jogging pants. You showed up to go do day game in jogging pants without a haircut. Oh, but it's because I'm a good person inside and I want women just to love me for who I am. Okay, well, you're a fucking idiot. Women are not going to love you for who you are. The history of the world and in the rest of the world today, we understand that the way you dress, the way you act, the way you talk, the friends you have, everything around you communicates where you are in the social dominance hierarchy, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
In the hierarchy. It's always that way. And so if you are intimidated by women that are really well-dressed, it's understandable because their well-dressedness is communicating to the world, I'm upper tier.
Yeah.
And every man is attracted to feminine women in the upper tier. Every man. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if, but if you're gay, right? If you're a male and you're gay, then you're not attracted to those. But every other man or every other male sees a very feminine woman walk by and goes, oh my God, I'm really attracted to her. And if she's upper tier, even more so, because she's, very well socialized, dresses really well, walking in heels, understands human social dynamics, isn't working at a labor job. She's more attractive, right? It's just the way that we work as humans. There's nothing wrong with it, right? And so you see this woman, she's very well dressed, you're intimidated because you automatically know she's at a high social level, and maybe I feel about myself that I'm at a lower social level. So what you're going to have to do, the way that a man climbs up the social level, the social hierarchy, is masculinity. So as you integrate your masculinity more at a deeper level, which also happens as you get older, you have more opportunity to do that sometimes. And as you face fears and as you do day game and different things or tools to build your masculinity, to lift you up the dominance hierarchy so that naturally you feel comfortable and realistically you've earned the right to interact with women at that level. Now the beautiful thing is if you approach a woman properly and you understand how to be masculine in your interaction with her, the very fact that she knows she's fucking delicious level, to some degree regardless of what you're wearing and stuff, you still will be able to walk up to her, and the very fact that you can stop her and talk to her as an equal will communicate to her that you have a lot of masculinity, therefore you must be high on the level. Yeah. Even if your hair is crazy, your clothes are crazy. Personally, I would say, well, why bother making it hard on yourself? Dress properly, take care of yourself. It also feels better. And then, I don't mean like, get a Ferrari and like go way over the top in like $5,000 suits. I just mean like put a little bit of care and attention to it, But the very fact that you can approach her will immediately tell her, holy fuck, this guy's got balls, because most guys are intimidated by her, and it's like a pre-selection thing. Yeah. Last time, maybe a couple times ago when I was in Colombia, I was meeting Tusk, and just before I saw this group of 5 people walk by. I think there were 3 girls and 2 guys, and one of the girls was divine, and she was walking arm in arm with a guy, and I was totally on point, and I was just like standing there talking to someone else, and I just saw them walking toward me. I was like, whoa, she's amazing. So I walked right up to them and I stopped them, and I was talking to her in my terrible Spanish and telling her that she looked stunning, and then interacting with the whole group. And then we ended up going out for drinks, and Tusk came and we tried escalating things, and it didn't really go anywhere. But I found out that was Miss Colombia. She was, the previous year she was Miss Colombia.
Oh shit.
So the reason why, and she actually asked me to come out for drinks with them, right? And so the reason why in her eyes I was at her level was just because who the fuck does that? Like, most people can't walk up to a group of 5, stop them on a street sober, and even she's walking with a guy who turned out to be her gay best friend. Most people just can't do that behavior. So a woman sees that and she immediately goes, oh, he must be upper tier because no other guys can do that behavior, right? Yeah. So it wasn't because I was so well dressed or had so much money, But all that to say yes. Okay, cool. So we're gonna focus on those 3 things, and then really quickly we'll wrap up here really quick. What do you think are gonna be 1 or 2 or 3 obstacles preventing you from reaching those goals? So we know going in.
I would say one of the obstacles is, I think at first it's gonna take me some time to just adjust to the language difference. Mm-hmm. Like in English, if I see someone, I know what I'll say, I'll just go in, right? But I feel like as a part of a different culture, in my head, I'm just like, oh, English, Spanish, French from high school, how does this conversation work? I think that's gonna take a little bit of time.
You will be surprised that probably about, I don't really know, 30-40% of women here, especially in Medellin and Cartagena, they will speak English.
Oh, okay.
At least, much better English than my Spanish. So at least conversational English, right? She'll be super uncomfortable and like, oh, I don't speak English, and then you find out she does, and then you find out her English is actually really good, but she's very embarrassed, right? Mm-hmm. That's pretty common. And so, and then also, here, it's an interesting thing because if I speak in perfect Spanish, it's actually less attractive than if I'm like the foreigner speaking in like attempted Spanish, right? I've heard that repeatedly, that it's very, for a woman, it's like, I wouldn't maybe say cute, but it's like disarming. Like for her, she feels like, oh my God, this guy's.
I think it's like a vulnerable experience because you're
exactly.
showing her like right away that you're trying to learn something.
Yeah,
and then that provides a connection really quickly.
And it shows her immediately that you're courageous. You don't have to have everything perfect and look perfect. No. I'm fine. Walk up to you, I say something stupid, okay, correct, whatever. And immediately she feels like, oh wow, he's being authentic, he's being vulnerable, he's trying really hard, he sounds really stupid, but he can laugh at himself, so he doesn't have a big ego. He's easy to talk with because even if we don't understand each other, he just laughs and tries again, and he's not super serious and like, oh my God, I've got a script and you're supposed to say this and I'm supposed to say that. It's very attractive to a woman when you can just pivot and just be very adaptable,
Yeah, I think it's an attractive quality all around.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to learn about the language some, but in the back of your mind you can be like, oh, okay, but I don't have to freak out about it because even your inability to communicate well is attractive to women.
Yeah, that's a good reframe.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one. What's another one?
Let me think.
Any fear? Do you feel fear? Well, you said you feel some fear when you see a
Yeah.
really well-dressed, beautiful woman.
Yeah, I think that's one of the fears that I have. I guess like the second thing could be just like bigger groups, and I've done those in the past, but I feel like just being in Colombia for a week or a day, my standard for like how attractive people are has just gone up. Like even coming into my flight, I was like, holy shit, this is what Clint was talking about.
It's fucking unreal, man.
So I think it's like a different level of like going into interactions.
Yeah.
Like exactly what you said.
It's and where we are, we're in the best area, Medellin and whatnot. You are interacting with the upper tier. Like here, it's understandable. There's the top 5% of people, or 3%, or whatever, and those are the ones that we're going to be interacting with primarily. And those are the ones. That's what you want to communicate to them, is that you're also upper tier and they're upper tier, and let's go and make upper tier babies, right? And so that's kind of normal and natural way of thinking here.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some fear around that because it's like it's presumptuous. It's
Yeah.
also, am I good enough kind of thinking,
Yeah.
you know?
On the other hand, with the interactions that I had so far, just random conversations, people are pretty friendly.
Huge. And then the more you get into that playfulness,
Yeah.
the more fun you'll have. Cool. So we'll wrap up there. And awesome. This is day one. We'll be keeping you guys updated.
Yeah.
You should be joining, if you haven't already, you should join Tusk's WhatsApp group. I know he started charging for it. It's a pittance. It's like, I think, $30 or $50 a month or something like that. He's got a free one. He's also got the paid one. I mean, if you really want to be dating women at a high level, and for some crazy reason you don't want to invest in a boot camp with whoever you feel comfortable with that can teach you how to be more masculine, then I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. But at the very least, I think you're worth $50 a month. If you,
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to say that you want to date women at the very top of the food chain, and you want to remain spending more money on your Xbox than on your own, personal growth and self-development. Plus, learning masculinity and how to be masculine, how to integrate that properly, it helps you in all areas of your life. You can
it
easily
definitely
make
does.
more than $50 a month from your current job just by understanding how to interact with people from a masculine perspective. It's how you communicate with your boss when you ask for a raise, or when you set boundaries around what you will and won't do at work, or whatever, right? If $50 a month is too expensive for you, then, well, I've got a finance course that you should be taking. Okay, we're gonna let you guys go. So sign up to Tusk's group below, and you'll have a lot of fun learning about all the crazy carnage that we get into.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.